Hey there, Alex Kidman here, just with a quick low-light comparison video for the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, primarily because I'm in the middle of testing it at the moment. And last night I went out and did a little bit of low-light shooting just to get some comparative shots against the iPhone 16 Pro Max and Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Now, before we start, a couple of ground rules. Everything was shot freehand. There were no tripods involved. Everything was shot automatic. Now, obviously, you can alter things up an awful lot if you go into pro modes, but an awful lot of people are just going to want to pick up their phones, take a photo, and get something as good as possible. So that's what I've gone for here. Also, I have not done any adjustments on these photos whatsoever, but obviously I can't control what your screen or YouTube does to them. Now, on with the show. And a big part of the reason for doing this review is because Samsung's made claims that its nightography, its low-light photography on the S25 Ultra is improved over previous generations. It's already pretty good, but I do want to see what it was like side to side. This tree is an interesting example where actually I think the Samsung gets it, because the iPhone shot is pretty good, but it's quite a bit darker towards the top of the tree. It doesn't get quite as much light detail in there. The iPhone does tend to paint the grass a little bit greener, which I guess is aesthetic, but maybe not as accurate to life. And the Pixel kind of sits somewhere in the middle of the two, but all three are pretty good, pretty decent photos in an area where I couldn't see a whole lot of light going on. This field shot is one that I've used over the years hundreds of times for low light testing, and the Pixel is easily the worst of them. It's not a bad shot, but it does that thing that Pixels do where Google's estimation tends to paint the ground green rather than actually getting it kind of accurate. The iPhone delivers a pleasing photo here. Aesthetically, it's quite nice, but it is a little bit color oversaturated as a result, especially in that foreground where the Samsung actually delivers a more true to life shot. It's maybe not as aesthetically nice, but it's slightly more accurate. It suggests it is picking up slightly more light under these circumstances and doing a slightly better job of it as a result. Swinging back around to the clubhouse, a tricky shot because, again, the phones are just setting everything and there's light blaring out from it. The Pixel does the worst of them, but not by much. The Galaxy S25 Ultra is close to the iPhone, but I will give it to the iPhone here, just partially visual presentation, but mostly because it actually grabs a little bit more color from the trees. It suggests it's doing a slightly better job of analyzing the light around there that the Samsung didn't quite get, but it is very close. Low light, of course, does not have to mean no light. So here's a street scene with obviously some street lights in play. The Pixel, again, comes in third here, not a bad shot. And the same is broadly true for the Samsung, which delivers certainly a more aesthetically pleasing shot than the Pixel manages, but I've got to give this one to the iPhone simply because it actually picks up more light around the top of that tree, for example. It just delivers a better lit scene overall through its own analysis and through its own pickup of the available light. A reminder again, I'm not necessarily going for aesthetically pleasing shots here. I'm testing capabilities, and sometimes that's just plain ordinary dull shots too. The other thing people like to do in low light, of course, is take selfies. And here there's a big difference, but there's a big difference because both Apple and Samsung, if you are in low light and you engage the selfie portrait camera, put up a big glowing disc. Basically, they illuminate your face. Now, is that cheating? Is that accurate? Well, I've got to be honest, it works. And I can demonstrate this no better than by showing you what the Pixel, which doesn't do that, managed to make of my face in low light. I mean, wow, I look very 70s album cover maybe. I've fallen into an accidental Doctor Who dimension. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I'm just sure that this is easily the worst photo I took all night, and it's not even vaguely close. This is just bad on so many levels while being artistically weird. The iPhone did a much better job of it. There's still a bit of grain here. It's still not perfect and ideal, and there's no other light sources on my face, I should point out. And this was taken in the exact same spot as the Pixel photo, I should also point out. But it does a decent enough job. But again, I will give this to the Samsung just because it does a slightly better job again. None of these are things I'm going to want to use as a passport photo, and obviously you're stuck with the fact that I'm taking photos of my own face, which is, again, not the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but here the Samsung takes it. So which should you choose? Well, look, my full review of the S25 Ultra is still coming. I like to take the time that I can. I only have the S25 Ultra for a very short period of time, unfortunately. But The practical side here is, look, the iPhone and the Samsung do sit above the Pixel in terms of low light quality. I kind of already knew that, and you probably did too. Samsung's big story here was that its nighttime photography was meant to be so much better than on the S24. I'm not sure that I'm seeing that though. I feel like this is still a very, very good, very capable low light shooter for sure. Is it some huge generational leap though? I'm not so sure that it is.